Now let's delve deeper into the dragon god Fafnir, because that in itself is a mystery. There was a message from someone that is, I don't know why he's coming back, but he really doesn't like me. And he says that Fafnir is the embodiment of greed. And of course, he was guarding the treasure, according to the story. Guarding the treasure of, I don't know, the Dwarven Kingdom. Just look into the Hobbits. It's actually the same thing. Well, Smaug is actually Fafnir. But what is wrong about this? What is wrong about the fact that he says he's the embodiment of greed? He's actually evil and bad. First of all, dragons in themselves, I follow the dragons and I try to understand them. I try to not to see the vision of humans. Humans see a dragon and they immediately see something bad or evil or embodiment of something bad. Well, my brothers and sisters, what I discovered after 20 years on the Dragon's Path, dragons are the embodiment of nature, of the elements. And I discovered that Fafnir is the embodiment of fire. Because he is the only one who could show fire to his enemies, the ones that was about to steal his gold and about to be punished for their greed. Because in the story it said that this treasure was cursed, and then of course he was slain by Siegfried, and yet and it stops. That is where it stops. The story also says that he was a dwarf, and after he killed his father, he took over the kingdom of the dwarfs and changed into a dragon. That is basically the story. What I see is something completely different. And why am I allowed to do that? Because I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to find out for myself what the truth is for me, what I see inside of Fafnir, because I try to connect with all of the dragons, including Fafnir. And what I came out of it, what for me came out of it, is something completely different. How I see Fafnir is, in fact, how I see ourselves. That we also are born in this world as in skin and bones, not in scales. So that we are just like humans, that we are born like this, but with a dragon soul. Always being able to transform. In this case, Fafnir was turned into the dragon because of the cursed treasure that made him sick. Not because he was very much greedy, but because of the cursed treasure. But how I see Fafnir is the embodiment of fire. He was one with fire, he could breathe it. He could breathe fire normally, and that is what was the image of the dragons themselves, of all of the dragons. That was the Western dragon, that was the image and example for every dragon in Europe. But they respected Fafnir, and that is why you could see all the images of Fafnir on their boats, on their houses, on their church, all in order to protect it. And that is how I see Fafnir, to protect, and that is what all dragons are. The dragons by your side are trying to protect things, are trying to protect you, trying to be your guardian. And that is how I see Fafnir, as a guardian, as a protector. And that is also what the nature is of dragons. Nature of dragons is to protect, but not more than that. I try to connect with Fafnir. I try to connect with Fafnir to see much more of what is much more behind him, and what is behind him is deeper than I ever could imagine. Um, whenever Fafnir died in this story, normally the story ends. But I wanted to know what followed further. What followed further is something that, in my visions and my visions, dreams, and how I feel it, is something that Fafnir actually really connected with me and told me actually about this story. Because after he died, he was free of that, of this manipulation, of this greed, of this actually not greed, because what can a dragon do with gold? Nothing. It's just he was sick. He couldn't. He didn't have his own mind. But once he died, his mind returned, and his spirit was one with fire, forever with fire, because he knew how to create fire from deep from within himself. And he became one with fire. It was always meant to be that he was one with fire. But he is one of the 4 dragon gods that is very much important for your own dragon spirit. Your own dragon spirit, you can say, is a fire of Fafnir. A fire that never goes out. A fire that is always eternal, always, and also the dragon god who understands what it is to be born in skin and bones here in this world. And also a dragon would understand how it is to live with a dragon soul, but while you are not a dragon yourself. So whenever you put up a candle or fire in itself, then you actually can touch it. It's actually, you try to connect your own fire with the physical fire. And it's pure magic. Pure, and that is what summons up Fafnir. But yeah, of course, that is not something that I can say, and that is what I try to say to you, my brothers and sisters. Don't just blindly follow a book or blindly follow what someone else says. I see it enough in religion. I see it enough in cults. They blindly follow something and inside because the book said so, and you don't even use your own mind, your own vision, your own instincts. You don't use it anymore. And that is the reason why I follow the dragon, because I follow my own self. I follow what I can feel, my own instincts, my own reason, my own beliefs, my own love, my own everything. And that is why I could see a completely different story of what people said to me about Fafnir. I could easily write it down inside of a book and let people 200 years later read it, and they will say, "Ah, this guy could see dragons. I could follow it. It's because I'm no longer there. I'm dead for many hundreds of years." Then maybe they will understand, yeah, or maybe I will follow it. But yeah, first of all, you don't need to do that. That is why this guy said to me, it's the embodiment of greed. You are so lost. By the way, that is something that you should never do on the dragon's path. Saying to someone that is wrong or you are lost, that means you are lost yourself. You lost yourself within, I don't know, your own cult, your own beliefs, your own anything. That is one of the biggest no-nos on the dragon's path. To say someone that you are lost or you are wrong. One of the many, many things that you shouldn't do. If you are doing this, then you don't understand it. You don't understand the dragon's path. You don't understand anything. And that is actually something that makes me feel bad for you. That you don't even, that you cannot open a book and see yourself in it. That you don't see, that you follow the words of someone else and you don't see yourself in it. Then, my brother, that you are lost. You are the one that you don't see dragons, and I feel sorry for you. But you can come back out of it. You don't have to pull my hand or something like this, but go out of it and see it for yourself who Fafnir is. If you want, for example, if you want to, you can connect with Fafnir, and I suggest you connect with all 4 main dragon gods. All 4 main dragon gods represents a different direction, a different element, and it's always 4 different sides, 4 different, the east, the west, the north, the south, or water, earth, fire, air. And all of them, Tiamat is the earth, Leviathan is the waters, Quetzalcoatl is the air, and Fafnir is the fire. But not always being seen as a physical fire. Once Fafnir, you can see it a bit how I see it. That Fafnir, he was actually saying thank you once he lost his body, because then it made him free. And once he became fire, he became a god. But he was always meant to be that god. Always once was with the fire. So the dragon god of fire is the one of being a human, you can say, of being ourselves, to understand it much more, to live among the realms, here in this realm, as a human being. And that is why you can very much understand Fafnir the best, because he can still say things to us in a human language. He can speak a language of humans. And that is why a lot of people make the mistake that maybe Fafnir can speak the language of the old Vikings and in Scandinavia. It could be. It could be. But yeah, Fafnir is also one with our soul, our spirit, the spirit of ourselves. And once he gave his body away, he became one with your spirit as well. Your spirit is eternity, and that is a spirit as well. And that is what the fire is within ourselves. We don't breathe it, but we can breathe it. But we breathe our own spirit. It's a bit like, can I say it, my brothers and sisters? It's a bit like, yeah, sacrificed himself to be much more. Fafnir sacrificed himself to be much more. It's a bit like the story of Jesus, isn't it? It's like giving himself away and becoming one with God. And in this case, he became God. He became the Father, but of course not the God that demands prayers or worship. Of course, that is not what dragons are. But this is one of the writers of our page, the dragon realm, one of the creators of your soul. Every four dragon gods has been a creator of your own spirit, but it's one dragon god that is really protecting and guarding over you. And that is something for you to find out who that is. My brothers and sisters, people,